What is up, everyone? This is Raphael Garcia here on Thursday, May 21st, for episode number 59 of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. I want to say thank you first and foremost for taking the time to listen to me tonight, as I usually do. I appreciate you all who listen to the show when it launches. Please be sure to like and share our content. As always, you can catch everything we do over at MMAratings.net. You can catch us on all the podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Anchor as well. And you can go over to YouTube to check us out at MMA Ratings there, where this show comes out once a week along with the MMA Ratings podcast, which is every Tuesday, myself and Shawan Humes. So, as always, thank you for taking the time to listen to this content today. Please be sure to like and share it to the best of your ability and make sure everyone gets an opportunity to check us out. But we got a couple of different things to talk about today from WWE, AEW, and Dark Side of the Ring, NWA Power, a little bit of that as well too. So I'm going to jump right into it and hit some of the bigger points of WWE content from this week. Just some things that I liked and maybe some things I didn't like. And talk about where that's headed. So, of course, the big story from this week was the passing of Shad Gaspard, one half of Crime Time. He died. He went missing on Sunday when he and his son were swimming in Miami, and it got drug out to sea, basically. And when lifeguards responded, he was able to point his son out and make sure his son got saved. But unfortunately, they were unable to save him as well. So his body was found, I believe, early Wednesday morning. So yeah, that's a sad, sad story. He goes out a hero basically, and it's interesting seeing so many people responded to his passing with such heartbreak. He touched obviously a lot of people's lives, even just as a friend. The video of him and MVP crying in each other's arms when Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship last year was recirculating, and it was just a big moment. And I got it, I got why they felt the way they did, at least from a fan's point of view. So it was really touching to see he get a little bit of a tribute when NXT started on Wednesday. AEW gave him a little bit of a shout out. They shared him on his social media accounts as well. So everyone in the wrestling business paid some type of tribute to him and his passing, and it's really just sad. There's a shirt going around. I retweeted it, and a lot of people really sent it around the social sphere today and yesterday, where all the proceeds are going to his family. I purchased one. I know a bunch of other people did, so please be sure to purchase that shirt if you see it going around. But it's unfortunate and sad. He was 39 years old when he passed. So let's turn our eye to WWE content from this week. The big points that I want to hit on first is this budding match between Edge and Randy Orton that's set for Backlash. And I am trying to figure out, just like everyone else, why WWE is dead set on building this as the greatest wrestling match ever. I don't know, like, why are they trolling us with that? Because Orton is not in his prime anymore. Neither is Edge. We've had so many different WWE themselves have put on so many great wrestling matches that why like it's almost puzzling that they're pushing this so hard as the greatest wrestling match ever. I just like there's just it's everyone is dumbfounded that they're sticking to this and sticking to their guns when we know that's not going to be the case. I wonder if they're doing that just because people were so upset or just not upset, but just weren't so into the fight that he had with Randy Orton at WrestleMania where they did the walk and brawl. Maybe people, their response to that have them is why they're doubling down on this to kind of stick it to everyone. But it's just stupid. It's just another one of those situations where WWE is doing something stupid and they're just doing it in spite of everyone. And this is the type of shit that turns people away. I'm not interested in this match. When Backlash comes around, I'll probably watch it, but this match is probably gonna suck. Not even gonna lie. Just like the WrestleMania one did. They're not going to put on a match like a Kenny Omega, John Moxley did earlier this year. They're not going to put on a match like Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne did a couple years ago. They're not going to put on a match like Sasha and Bailey did or Becky Lynch and Sasha did. They're not going to be able to do that. So we might as well get that out of our head right now. And it seems like WWE is doubling down on that just to kind of stick it to everybody, keep calling this the greatest wrestling match ever, just to piss people off. This is really what this feels like to me. So they talked about this on Monday, but it is what it is. No one's really buying into it. What people are buying into is, and I have some interest in this, is Austin Theory joining Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. How this basically went down is Austin Theory got pinned when Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens, who both returned on Monday, had a match, and they had a match against Andrade and Angel Garza. Excuse me, Austin Theory did not get pinned, but his interference led to Angel Garza getting pinned. Or did he pin Andrade? I can't remember which one, but Apollo Crews got the pin because of something Austin Theory did. So they jumped him. All three of them beat him down, and they beat him down and leave him laying in the on the mat outside the ring. And we get a situation that's just like what happened with Buddy Murphy when he joined Seth Rollins, where Seth goes out there, extends his hand, Austin Theory takes it, and basically Theory slides into the ring and attacks Aleister Black, causing the DQ so Murphy does not get pinned. What is interesting about this, though, is based on Murphy's post on Instagram, it seems like they're continuing to hint at a feud between Murphy and Rollins, which is something I would want to see because he was posting like, he's the original, he's never number two. So they're already going towards a route where he is not going to play second fiddle to Austin Theory, which I think is the right path to take for him. But we're going to see some more here. I expect to see some Buddy Murphy, Austin Theory tags going on. This is big for Austin Theory because he's been in the WWE, and because of the pandemic situation, he was one of the people called to the main roster. Actually, not even because of the pandemic, just because Andrade got injured and wrestled at WrestleMania, so he was slotted in there, and it makes sense that they're utilizing him. What I'm concerned about though is Zelina Vega and her group. Now I feel like they're just going to become jobbers. Even during this run, they've been one of the groups that have been around the longest and like stuck it out and been there on every show, multiple segments, carrying segments left and right. And now they're just going to get pushed back to being fodder as more and more people are brought back to the roster. So I'm a little bit concerned about that because you know how I get about the people of color on the WWE roster when they're mismanaging this book. I expect that United States title to come off of Andrade's waist. I hope they put it on Apollo Crews. He is due, and people were really interested in seeing what he could do as a champion. He's been tearing it up. I still need to go back and watch that 20-minute match or 28-minute match that he had with Aleister Black a couple months ago, last month. But I hope that's the move that they make. But I'm still concerned about what's going to happen with Zelina Vega and Andrade and Angel Garza. We got the continued build of Bobby Lashley, and he's now officially the number one contender for Drew McIntyre's title at Backlash, which I am here for. I believe he smashed R-Truth again, which is R-Truth needs to get rid of that Pretty Ricky bullshit, but Bobby Lashley looks good. That's all I really care about right now. That he's being booked up in a positive fashion. Lana is backstage screaming like she does. I hope they just need to get her out. Like, I'm just tired of her shit. And I was tired of that angle. I'm glad they're kind of weaning us off of that. I wonder how they're going to cause that split. But we'll see what that looks like. Asuka and Kairi Sane. This is building up to Asuka versus Nia Jax, probably at Backlash, because Asuka and Kairi Sane jumped Nia when she came to the ring. Then Nia attacked Kairi, and Asuka beat Nia's ass again for it. So expect Nia to smash Asuka next week, and that's going to lead to that match. We already talked about Kevin Owens and Apollo Crews' return. Drew McIntyre defeated Baron Corbin in the main event. It was a good match. I feel so bad for Baron because he can work. He works his ass off in big matches when he's given the opportunity to, but his character has just been so mismanaged so much that it's almost unfortunate that he is just not he has X-Pac heat now. People want him to go away. And it's almost funny that WWE made it a point to blame him when ratings started to drop, that now people are just tired of him and bored out of their damn mind anytime he's on TV. So it's unfortunate that that's what's happened to him, because I think Baron Corbin is much better than he gets credit, especially his moveset. It's just unfortunate that his character is never going to be one that is enjoyed. He has to go away for an extended period of time and then come back in a interesting fashion that makes him look like that badass heel, or that just that badass that he was back in NXT. They need to do something to put him in that position, and I don't think they will for an extended period of time, unless if he was to get injured or have to go away for a little while. So we'll see what that looks like. Karrion Kross continued to do his thing over on NXT, smashing a jobber. Then Tommaso Ciampa came out and they said they had that match set up for NXT, which everyone basically predicted. They need to get rid of Scarlett doing that lip syncing. She just needs to walk them out. She looks good. I understand it's her song that she's singing. It was her actually singing the song itself, but the over exaggerated lip syncing bullshit, that needs to stop. It needs to stop, and it needs to stop right now. They look good together. They're doing the damn thing, but that lip syncing just does not do it for me or anyone else. They continue the NXT interim cruiserweight title, so that we are now at the point where the finals are set, but big but. So if Phantasma beat Tozawa, and since he has the tiebreak over Tozawa, he advances out of Group B. Phantasma. Drake Maverick beat Kushida, which caused a three-way tie between Maverick, Kushida, and Jake Atlas, because there's no tiebreak there. So they're having a triple threat next week to see who goes on to the finals. Now, I don't know how this is going to play out. I could see Kushida winning, but Kushida has the biggest name. But I don't see that carrying as much weight as if Drake Maverick found a way to win. So I am hoping that Drake Maverick wins. Now, if he was to win and go into this match with Phantasma and lose because of those luchadors that's running around backstage kidnapping people, then that's going to continue the trend of this piss poor WWE booking. Put the title on Drake Maverick, hire the man back, and let the angle be that he worked his ass off to keep his job, or he put himself in a position to win the title and force the WWE's hand to bring him back. Then have Jordan Devlin come back and say, "Hey, I'm coming here. I'm going to beat you for that title, unify these titles, and you're going to get fired, and it's going to be all because of me." Set that storyline up. Do not give us some other bullshit with shenanigans and mystery men running around kidnapping guys that are really working for Phantasma. Don't give us that. We all see through that. Give us something a little bit different. Give us something we can sink our teeth into. Put that belt on Drake and let him go into a heated rivalry against Jordan Devlin for trying to beat him out of a job. Give us that, please. What I'm also here for is the idea of Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher fighting in a cage. They didn't say this was going to be a cage match. They said this was going to be a match where you can only win by knocking your opponent out or making them submit. All they said is going down in a cage. Sign me up for all of this. I don't know if you caught their match last week, but it was a very grappling-based match, which, I'm excited for. I love. I'm sure plenty of people don't like it. It's more along the lines of, I would say, a watered-down Zack Sabre Jr. type of match. Watered down. But the idea of these two guys fighting in a cage, yes, give me all of that. Spray it right into my eyes. I want to see, I think that's next week as well, too. That match and the triple threat match for the Group A advancement is next week, too. So give me all of that. What else did we get on Wednesday? We also got the situation where Mia Yim defeated Santana Garrett. And that set up Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano coming out to basically badmouth her and attack her. Keith Lee comes out to make the save. I want them to give us a Keith Lee, Mia Yim versus Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae match, an intergender match, not a mixed tag team match, but an intergender match where the women can fight the men as well. Mia Yim and Candice LeRae can do that. They've been doing that. I wrote about this. Go look at the piece and look at the highlights where Yim, there's two videos in there. Yim has a match against Johnny Gargano. I think that was before they actually got married. And then there's the Keith Lee and Mia Yim match in there as well too. These women can go. These four people can go and they can go together. Let them do their thing and let's slowly bring back intergender wrestling. That's something that no one else is doing right now. Not on a major platform. You don't see it in AEW, you don't see it in New Japan, well, you see it in TNA now, or Impact now, you see it there, and you saw how much attention that drew. So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back in this situation here. I think these four people can do it. Give them that opportunity. Roderick Strong defeated Dexter Lumis, and Lumis attacks him after UE comes out, or Undisputed Era comes out, and Velveteen Dream makes a save. That was, it was an okay situation. I'm surprised they let Strong get the pin on Lumis. Yeah, they could have just easily done the UE run-in and attack to cause a DQ. They've been leaning on a lot of DQ finishes lately, so I'm surprised they allowed him to take that pinfall finish. But Dream coming out was, was what it was. He did the, I don't know if it calls it the Dream over is it the Dream over the elbow drop or the rolling DVD Death Valley Driver? I'm not really sure. But he did the elbow drop to the outside, and they had some wicked camera cut to kind of make it seem like he actually did it, but we all know he really did not. Then in the main event, Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai, Charlotte interfered, so we're getting a triple threat at NXT Takeover in your house, and it's a way to get that interim or get that NXT title off of Charlotte's waist and keep her looking strong. I hope that's what we get because I am not saying I'm getting tired of her, but having her on every single show just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for a lot of people viewing, obviously, because NXT ratings they went down this week, 592 to 702, compared to AEW. And you can say that's because AEW has a go home show this week. We're going to talk about their pay-per-view this weekend in a moment, but AEW show was not that great compared to NXT this week. And that's usually, from my opinion, in the wrestling standpoint, I think NXT is better. AEW just seems like people are having more fun watching it, but this week's show didn't seem like people were having as much fun. And we're going to talk about some pieces of that show in a moment and also do a preview of the card. So that's really all from WWE. I want to jump to NWA Power and talk about that a little bit before we go into AEW and Dark Side of the Ring. So I finished up watching the Super Show, which was episode 21, not this past week. I didn't watch the Carney Land episode. That name just turned me off. But I did watch last week's show, the hour and a half show. I'm going to try to get back into NWA. And there's just a couple of good pieces. And I always, like I've said before, I love the fact that they're using a very, very diverse group of women on their roster. I love that. The men aren't so diverse. I mean, it's all basically white guys. I think Eddie Kingston might be the only black guy that they have on there enough. Ricky Starks is a free agent. I think he is a minority as well. I'm interested in seeing what's next for Ricky Starks. I don't think he would work in WWE because of the size. The dude's a fucking great promo. But he's built a lot like Ricochet, so I don't see how they would use him any different. But he's a great, great, great promo. I would love to see him in AEW and be able to talk a little bit more on the mic or even Impact. He would get me to watch Impact, to be honest. Let's see. Tim Storm. He's 56 years old, still doing the damn thing, and he had a pretty good walking brawl match. Elijah Burke, the Pope, on the mic. I don't think anybody can touch that dude right now. I want to see him continue to flourish working the mic because I don't think anybody can touch that dude right now. He just said like he just lights fire anytime he gets that microphone in his hand. I like James Storm and Eli Drake too. I like them on a tag team. I think we're going to end up seeing them battle sometime in the future. So that's another duo that can get me to watch NWA a little bit more too as well. Villain Enterprises and Strictly Business in the main event. This was a good main event to me. NWA was a good show. And I really appreciate the content that they're putting out there. And I enjoyed this show from last week. I'm going to try to continue to bring different promotions to this podcast that I'm talking about. So right now I'm kind of looking at NWA and going to be focusing a little bit more on their content going forward, at least until they piss me off again like they did with that Jim Cornette situation. So I'm going to talk about AEW, do a Double or Nothing preview, then we're going to go into Dark Side of the Ring, the last days of Owen Hart. So AEW this week, again, I did not watch the whole show. I watched some bits and pieces of it. The thing I enjoyed the most was that Pac vignette. Man, WWE let this dude walk, and they let that dude walk for absolutely nothing, which was disgusting. It was just disgusting that they let that dude walk for nothing. But he had an excellent vignette. I'm probably gonna go back and watch it again. He takes a shot at the fact that he was kept at home by the WWE for such an extended period of time. I'm just he can do no wrong in my book right now. He's the best heel in wrestling. I think he's one of the top 10 best wrestlers in the world, maybe even top five. Everything about this dude I love, and I'm here and I'm going to stand for that anything that Pac does. Something I had an interesting question that I wanted to ask during the media call that was today, but I didn't get a chance to get on the call. But both AEW and WWE are utilizing a lot of people of color as enhancement talent during the pandemic, and I wonder how they'll be used on TV after the fact. AEW did say that some people that were being brought in as enhancement talent were given contracts. They didn't say who, so I'm interested in seeing who is given an opportunity or who has a contract now and how many of them are people of color in both organizations because they've been working their ass off. Like Leon Ruff, somebody needs to sign that dude because somebody needs to sign that dude and sign him sooner rather than later. So let's talk about the Double or Nothing card. I'm gonna run down here and give some predictions on some matches here. So first up we have and this is not in any match order that I know of. This is just a match order off of Wikipedia as I'm reading it. So we have Cody with Arn Anderson and Brandi Rhodes versus Lance Archer for the inaugural AEW TNT Championship. Mike Tyson will be there to reward the champion with the title. I am looking at this. I think Arn is going to turn on Cody, and Lance is going to win the title. Arn is going to turn on Cody, especially since Cody laid him out a couple months back when he had that match with MJF by accident. I think Arn's going to make the turn, and Lance is going to get the win there. I've said it in the past, but Voices of Wrestling was talking about this angle between Cody and Archer being the best built story in wrestling today. I disagree. I don't really care. I don't care too much for Lance Archer. I don't care to see Arn and Jake in the ring talking back and forth. Cody had me earlier in the year. Now I'm just like he's just another guy to me right now. He's the biggest guy in AEW, but he's just not. It's just not for me. Um, but I don't think this is the best built feud in wrestling. I like the Mandy and Sonya storyline more because I'm more interested in Sonya Deville, not interested in any one of these individuals here. But that's just my opinion. We have MJF with Wardlow against Jungle Boy. I mean, clearly MJF is going to win. I wonder if they're going to set up something between him and Wardlow in the future. But how did MJF go from beating Cody to going up against Jungle Boy? They could have found something better for him to be doing, but it is what it is. That's the match that they gave us. Jon Moxley versus Brody Lee. I'm expecting Jon Moxley to keep the title here. A lot of people are down on the idea of Brody Lee being in the main event picture. I talked about this last week where they need to begin getting away from prior WWE guys being in the title picture for so long. They did that with just about everyone else that's been in the title picture so far. I mean, Jake Hager, Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, Cody, Brody Lee now. Yeah, that's really been the title picture so far. Adam Page is in it, of course, but he is not in the WWE or a excuse me, he's an AEW guy. Scorpio Sky was in it too, but most of those names were previous WWE guys. So I want to see them get away from that. And Brody Lee is just a representation of Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper to me right now, and I'm not that interested in him as a title threat. That could change, but we'll see what that looks like. So we get the Casino Ladder match with Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Ray Phoenix, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and TBA. This is for a future AEW World Championship match. I don't know. But people are pointing at Brian Cage possibly being at TBA. That would be an interesting name. But this is going to be fucking ridiculous. Ray Phoenix is going to do some stupid shit flying off of something. Orange Cassidy is as well. So is Darby Allin for that sake. So I'm interested in seeing this match because this is going to be a train wreck, and I'm totally here for it. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. No disqualification, no count out match for the AEW Women's World Championship. I think Rose is going to keep it because of some shenanigans. Somebody may run in and do something to Shida. Now, they had scheduled Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander, but she has a torn ACL because of that stupid ass spot on Wednesday when Shida and Statlander threw Nyla Rose onto Britt Baker's knee. Totally tore it up. Torn ACL. She's done for at least 8 months. So that's gonna suck. I don't know. I think they should pull Chris Statlander off this card altogether. I don't think she's any good. That's just my opinion. She's a great character. I get it. But wrestler wise, she's not any good. And that was just yet another example. I haven't liked any of her matches so far since she's been in AEW. And just like everyone else, I'm upset that Britt Baker's injured the way she is. They'll probably figure out a way to make her still be relevant through television and just, being a pest to people, even if she's in like a wheelchair or something like that. But yeah, her knee is toast. Her knee is fucking toast. Private Party versus Best Friends, number one contender to the AEW World Tag Team Championship. I think Private Party will win that. Yeah, I don't really care too much about them either, but I think they're gonna win that. This match was just announced, I think yesterday, Dustin Rhodes versus Shawn Spears. Pretty interested in that match because I think they're gonna try to put some heat on Shawn Spears and have him win here. He had that match with Cody. That's kind of where he got his start in AEW by attacking Cody, doing all that good stuff, but they never really went anywhere with it. Cody just beat him and that was it. Did Shawn win that? No, I think Cody just beat him, but he hasn't really been utilized since. I think we're going to see some type of run for Shawn Spears, starting with this match here. Then we get the Stadium Stampede, Matt Hardy and the Elite, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, and the Young Bucks versus the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. So let me see something. That's five and five. Okay. So this match is basically where the ring is set up on the 50-yard line, and it's no holds barred from there. So we're gonna see what that looks like. I'm interested in just kind of seeing like the aesthetics of the match. How is it different? I liked the segment last night where Kenny Omega is basically not Kenny Omega, excuse me. Adam Page basically does a 100-yard sprint to save his teammates, which was awesome. It was a great visual. This match, okay, I'm pretty interested in just because it's going to be different. I was writing about this on Twitter today that the AEW main event scene just it's not really interesting to me right now. When I look at AEW, I'm interested in just a few things. I'm interested in Scorpio Sky. I'm interested in AEW. I'm interested in Pac. I'm interested in Orange Cassidy, Ray Phoenix, Hikaru Shida, Big Swole, who hasn't been on TV in a while. Billy Gunn's son, Austin Gunn. I'm interested in him. So like, there's things I'm interested in, but the stuff they're putting on television, I don't want to see. Like, I was watching AEW Dark. Jimmy Havoc, Don't want to see him. Luther, get him the fuck off my television. Butcher the Blade and the Bunny, I don't want to see them ever again either. There's so much about that show that I just can't get behind that. It just makes me not want to watch. I watch NXT on Wednesdays, and AEW is like my backup watching because I like more of the wrestling that's on NXT. So I'm really kind of concerned about the main event picture and where that's going to be headed long term because it just doesn't seem like what I need. It just doesn't seem like what I need. But that doesn't mean I'm going to like if they make changes in the future, no problem. If they give me some, if they somehow figure out, they do the Adam Page split from the Elite and him and Omega have a feud, count me in for that. If they put Pac in the main event picture, count me in for that. Like there's things that will get me in watching, but right now I'm just not here for it. But I am going to tune in this weekend. I'm going to pay for the pay-per-view. I'm going to continue supporting, and I'm looking forward to a good event. So I wanted to take some time to talk about the Dark Side of the Ring episode from Tuesday, which was the final days of Owen Hart. And again, Vice and Dark Side of the Ring have been killing it this season. This content has been amazing. This one was the highest rated one of this season. I forgot how many people watched. I saw the number, but I can't really remember it. But it takes you through the last couple of days of Owen Hart's death, which was on May 23rd, 1999. And it's just powerful. And listening to this, it's hard how you can listen to this and not understand Martha Hart's stance of not wanting anything to do with the WWE and not letting them celebrate Owen in any way, shape, or form because they don't deserve to. What they did that led to his death is reprehensible, and they should not be allowed to hike him up just to get television ratings at this point in time or to get people to watch. I don't want to see them trot Brett out to this onto the stage to have him talk about Owen. I don't want to see that. Owen deserved better. They didn't do it better by him, and I don't think that they deserve the right to talk about him in any way, shape, or form. This was it was powerful television, and man, looking at Oj talk about him, Oj is like 28, 29 now. You can tell he's still hurting. Martha's still hurting. Athena, she was 3, I think, when it happened, so she doesn't even really remember her dad all that well. All of those people lost. I don't want to say lost their life, like lost their lifetimes, but they lost majorly when he died. And just looking at all of the negligence around his death, it's just unfortunate. So unfortunate. There are so many different things that could have been done to keep him alive or to keep him safe during that stunt that he just went around. And according to Oj, he just made it seem like they did it just for cost saving and not taking all the right precautions. And that's just unfortunate that if that really played a part in it. Probably the biggest line was JR talking about having to give the update in the way Kevin Dunn basically was like, he's dead and you're back in 10, 9. Like, how do you treat people like that? It's funny. I'm just talking on the before I got on the podcast tonight about how employers don't really care, or they tend to fake that they care about their employees. But this right here, man, this was something just un unbecoming is the word that's coming to mind right now. But it's even so much more than that. The fact that they kept the show going, and Martha was saying that they could feel a dip in the ring where his body hit. I mean, think about that. 240-pound man falling, what did they say, 30, 40 feet to his death? Or like, was he, they said he was 80 feet above the ring. I don't know if he fell all 80 feet or if they started lowering him and then it released. But his blood was on the side of the mat. They could feel a dip in the ring where he hit. They said that as he was falling, Jim Cornette was saying that people in the arena heard him as he was falling. He was screaming, "Look out!" because he didn't want to fall on anybody. That's just, man. I remember when the situation happened. I can't remember if I was watching or not. I don't think I was at this time because back then I was living. It's basically poor. What I used to do is watch pay-per-views when the screens were fuzzy. Um, the screen, I couldn't see anything. I would just listen to them. So I feel like I remember this one. But man, yeah, this is so sad. Like this is such a sad situation here. And there's so many different quotes from this episode that is just powerful. I'm just gonna read a couple. One was Jim Ross's, where at the start of the show he said, I don't think you can talk about pro wrestling history and not incorporate the hearts into that conversation very early. Another one was from Martha when she was talking about the safety precautions around this stunt for Owen. He never questioned his safety because he assumed this billion-dollar company was certainly going to make sure that they hired the best in the business, which they did not. Let's Another one from Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is good in these type of shows because he's so knowledgeable. But he was saying that Jim Cornette is filling time on television while the guy is laying there dying in the ring. D'Lo Brown's had a very traumatic career from the Draws situation where he slipped and paralyzed Draws to this situation here where he said he got to see Owen's body being rolled out of the ring, carted out, and his body was blue because he was basically already dead. Um, Martha's family settled for $18 million, and she said she was looking for accountability. That's something Vince McMahon would never take. I don't even know if he's ever spoken about this situation on air or any way, shape, or form, but yeah, accountability is something that they don't do. Um, and the final line I want to read was also by Martha Hart was, "I would not allow Owen to be recognized by the company that took his life." So I want to say it again. If you're a pro wrestling fan, go back, watch this episode because it is very powerful. And if you just go back and watch all the Dark Side of the Ring episodes, if you can, because the content is just so fantastic. It's such great wrestling content that you just have to see it if you're a fan of the industry. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and close out. As I said, this is Raphael Garcia. You can find me at rgarcia_sports, where I will be talking about professional wrestling, MMA, sports, and politics. Keep a close eye on my channels because I may be launching something new very soon. You can go over to MMAratings.net where you can read all of our content there by Adam Martin. You can see some of my old written content there. You can also rate the fights using our star system. So tell us how excited you are about the upcoming fights, and also tell us what you thought of the past fights using our 10-star system. You can find our podcast, which we have this show comes out every Thursday or Friday every week. I will be doing a Double or Nothing review show on Saturday once that event ends. You can find this show, our Tuesday MMA Ratings podcast with myself and Shawan Humes. You can find that as well. First off, on our YouTube channel, MMA Ratings. You can also go to podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Anchor to watch our show or listen to our shows there. When you do so, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Share them across your social media channels. We always appreciate when you do so. This week, as I said, I will be doing a recap show to Double or Nothing this weekend. AEW does good pay-per-views. They have great matches. I'm interested in seeing how this one kind of delivers with it being an empty arena showcase. So I'm working on that. So expect a recap show Saturday night and probably some written content around that as well. What else am I working on? I have interview series. Man, I put together a list of amazing interviews I am going to be doing one way or another. So keep an eye out on those because the content there should be pretty fantastic. I have some great interviews lined up. I have a written piece about the Undertaker's The Last Ride documentary. Some people aren't gonna like it, but that's coming out as well too. But as always, keep your eye on my social media channels, and I thank you for listening to this show and for listening to all the content that you've heard in the past. Everyone have a great night and stay safe this weekend.